Hyundai competed on one thing: affordability. While BMW was selling you the feeling of the road, Hyundai was selling you a payment plan. Nobody grew up with a Hyundai poster on their bedroom wall. You didn't save up for one. You didn't dream about one. You just ended up with one. The same way you end up with a sensible jacket or a reliable blender. In the early 2000s, Hyundai was still dragging itself out of a reputation built on cheap, rattling Econo boxes. And the worst part? Even when the cars got legitimately better, nobody noticed. So they did something almost embarrassing. They offered a 10-year warranty just to convince people the cars wouldn't fall apart. Not exactly the move of a brand with something to prove on a racetrack. Then something changed, fast. Albert Biermann was born in Germany in 1957, and he studied mechanical engineering. But more than that, he grew up in a culture where cars weren't just transportation. German engineering of that era was obsessed with three things: precision, feel, and the idea that a machine should communicate with the person driving it. In 1983, Biermann joined BMW, right as the brand was cementing its identity as the definitive driver's car. He didn't walk in as a legend, he earned it. His focus was chassis tuning, suspension behavior, and steering feel. The invisible stuff most people never think about but always feel. This is the craft behind why a BMW corners like it's on rails, why the steering talks back to you, why the whole car feels like an extension of your hands and feet. Biermann helped shape what BMW became: rear-wheel drive balance, near 50-50 weight distribution, precise steering feedback, and handling so predictable at the limit that you could push it hard and trust it completely. Not just fast, alive. Eventually, he became head of vehicle testing at the Nürburgring. If you don't know the Nürburgring, it's 12.9 miles of pure violence, over 150 corners, constant elevation changes, weather that shifts without warning. It doesn't just test cars, it exposes them. It finds every flaw, every weakness, every shortcut an engineer tried to hide. In fact, Jackie Stewart, three-time Formula One world champion, a man who raced in an era where drivers died regularly, called it the green hell. And he meant it. The Nürburgring didn't grade on a curve. If your car worked there, it was legitimate. Biermann didn't just test cars there, he made it his proving ground. He eventually rose to head of engineering for BMW, the division responsible for some of the most celebrated performance cars ever built. The M cars were predictable in the best possible way. They worked with you. Rear-wheel drive when competitors were abandoning it. Controlled slides? Steering that told you exactly where the grip ended. Weight transfer you could feel in your palms. These weren't just fast cars, they were communicative. The kind of car that made you a better driver just by being honest with you. So when Biermann walked away from BMW in 2015, after 30 years and a legacy most engineers would kill for, the industry assumed it was a lateral move. Porsche, Mercedes-AMG, or Audi Sport. That's how this story was supposed to go. Instead, he called Hyundai. Hyundai, who was still out here offering 10-year warranties to prove their cars wouldn't disintegrate, who had never made a single car that an enthusiast genuinely lusted after, who didn't even have a performance identity to speak of. Think about what that decision meant. He could have walked into any elite performance brand and been handed the keys. He chose to build from nothing. Maybe BMW had no mountains left for him to climb. Maybe he wanted the freedom to reshape an entire company's DNA from the ground up. Whatever the reason, Biermann joined as head of vehicle test and high-performance development, and eventually became president of R&D. He wasn't just making Hyundai faster, he was making Hyundai a car company people actually cared about. And this is where it stops making sense on paper, because this is a Hyundai. When the 2022 Elantra N launched, Hyundai couldn't keep them on lots. Demand blew past supply. Dealerships had waiting lists. Cars sold at or above MSRP, which for a Hyundai was genuinely uncharted territory. The people cross-shopping GTIs and Type Rs were suddenly looking at a Hyundai, not as a compromise, but as an actual contender. Car reviewers loved it. YouTube channels that had never said anything kind about Hyundai were raving about it. Enthusiast forums lit up. For the first time in the brand's history, people weren't buying a Hyundai because it made financial sense. They wanted it. To be fair, enthusiasts had already gotten a hint. The Veloster N came first, a weird, lopsided hatchback that had no business being as good as it was. It was fast, sharp, and made people pay attention. But it was also strange-looking and niche. Hyundai discontinued it in 2021, and then, almost immediately, replaced it with something that couldn't be dismissed at all. The Elantra N arrived the very next year. Same specs as the Veloster N, 2.0-liter turbo, 276 horsepower, overboost, and transmission options. All the same Biermann DNA under the skin. Hyundai took everything that worked and put it inside a car that the rest of the world would actually take seriously. It was the kind of car you could drive to work on Monday and to a track day on Saturday without explaining yourself to anyone. That accessibility is exactly what made it dangerous, because now Biermann's philosophy wasn't living inside some cult hatchback. It was sitting in a Hyundai dealership next to the Elantras with the bass stereo and cloth seats, and it was asking to be taken seriously. And it is. Deeply. It averages around $34,250 across model years. For that money, you get a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 276 horsepower, with an overboost function that punches it to 286. 0 to 60 in the low 5s. Your choice of a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed wet dual clutch that fires off shifts faster than you can blink. Limited slip differential. Adaptive suspension. A chassis tuned by the man who built BMW M. Now look at what else that money could buy. The 2025 Golf GTI starts at $32,445. Close on price, but down to 241 horsepower. And for the first time in GTI history, no manual transmission at all. Want more power from Volkswagen? The Golf R jumps to $47,100. Then there's the Honda Civic Type R, the benchmark of this segment, the car every hot hatch gets measured against. It starts at $45,895. After Honda's destination fee, you're over $47,000, and it only comes one way. Manual transmission, full stop. That last part matters more than people admit. The Civic Type R is a brilliant car, but it asks something of you before you even get in. It says you must drive stick and want this specific experience. For a certain kind of enthusiast, that's a feature. For everyone else, it's a closed door. The Elantra N opens that door. The wet 8-speed DCT isn't a consolation prize. It's genuinely fast, genuinely engaging, and in everyday traffic, it doesn't punish you for existing. You still have paddle shifters. You still have control. You still feel like the one driving it. But you don't have to earn your performance credentials at every red light. That's over $13,000 less than the Type R with a transmission that works for more people without giving up what makes this segment worth caring about. Start with the steering. Turn in, and the car tells you something. It communicates. You can feel where the grip begins to thin out, where the front tires are loading up, where the limit is, and that conversation never stops. That's not an accident. That's 30 years of obsession coming through the wheel. The chassis backs it up. Bumps mid-corner don't unsettle it. The suspension absorbs without flinching, holds its line, stays composed when lesser cars start to fidget and lie. Biermann's thing was always predictability. The idea that a great car should be honest with you. The Elantra N is relentlessly honest. Then there's the limited slip differential. Get on the power early out of a corner. The kind of corner where most front-wheel drive cars would scramble and pull and push wide. And the LSD claws down, distributes the torque, finds the grip. The car doesn't fight you. It rotates, plants, and goes. On track-capable tires with real grip levels, the front end bites in a way that genuinely surprises you. It's not doing what front-wheel drive is supposed to do. It's doing something better. And then, because apparently Biermann wanted to make sure nobody could say this car was boring, there's the exhaust. Personality. Small pops on the overrun. Subtle cracks between shifts. The kind of exhaust note that makes you lift and reapply the throttle just to hear it again? And here's the thing people don't want to admit. Most of us don't live on a racetrack. The Civic Type R is a phenomenal machine. So is the Golf R. But they ask something of you. They require commitment. The Elantra N gives you the same thrill without demanding you earn it every time. It's usable. A car that rewards a spirited canyon run just as readily as a commute, without ever making you feel like you're wasting it. Push it hard. Feel the amazing cornering. Feel the LSD pull on exit. Catch the exhaust doing its thing. And you'll understand exactly what Biermann was after. The Elantra N isn't trying to be an M3. It was never supposed to be. What it's supposed to be is the best front-wheel drive performance sedan under $40,000. And by most accounts, that's exactly what it is. The GTI and the Type R prove that front-wheel drive done right is a legitimate performance formula. The Elantra N just showed up and did it better for less money. You're not drifting this thing at Laguna Seca, but push the car and you'll understand exactly what Biermann was after.